So guys, what's up? This is my first time ever trying to record a fly when I tie it. Wanted to give this a try for a while. So tonight I'm going to be tying just a basic girdle bug. Nice stonefly imitation, used here in the east through the Tennessee, North Carolina mountains, all the way up north. I've had a lot of luck with it on trout, with panfish, bluegill bass. Anything in the creek that'll eat will eat it usually. Starting off using a Orvis Mudler Minnow stonefly hook. Item number 1526 in a size 8. It's 3x long, round bend, 1x strong. I like this hook. It's a pretty strong hook. I've tied several of them with it. Works good on the woolly bugger as well. Put it in my vise, and yes, I am just using a regular standard vise. I don't have a rotary vise. It's in the works to get one, but I do just as good with this as I could a rotary vise, I believe. Till I get one, and then I'll be like, oh gosh, why'd I ever want anything but that rotary vise? So I'm going to clip off enough 0.20 lead-free wire, round wire, to cover most of the shank of the hook. I'm going to twist that on first. I personally always start in the back. Get a little bend here, hold it down, and then I just start twisting up. And I just go until I get close to the front. Then I'll shove it all together because it will space out on you. And just kind of work it to the back. Not basically making it even with where the barb of the hook would be. A little, leave a little bit of the point. Keeping it nice tight. Shoving it together when you get to it. And then now what you want to do is at the front, leave yourself about 1/8 of an inch in there. Basically about the width of the end of your bobbin. And snip that off. Just kind of press it around and get it there. Next, I'm just going to come to the front here, make a good solid thread dam in the front, and then just work my way across the back. Do the same thing on the back. Got to hold it in place, and then work your thread back towards the front. And attach it down. Trim off your tag end. Now that you got your tag end off, work it to the back again, just to help lock that down a little bit tighter. Round over right to the start of the bend, and then stop. And we want to take some black chenille. Woolly bugger chenille is one of my favorites. Clip that off. And I'm just going to tie it into the back here. Just a few wraps to hold it down. And I'll work my thread back to the front. Hook it into my homemade wire keeper I've got here because I lost mine. But it worked pretty good, just a little piece of wire. Holds it back out of my way for me. I then take, and I'm going to pick out white rubber legs. And me, instead of paying for regular rubber legs, I went to a local shop and bought a bunch of extra, changeable spinnerbait skirts that you just use on a standard bass spinnerbait. Works just as good. It's round. I think they might be just a little bit more durable. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to check that right there. See how that looks on the front. Then I'm going to attach it down. I'll fold it over so it's even. And then just wrap around it a few times. Locking it into place. I'm not worried about that little bit of tag right there. Kind of line them up just a little bit. Come in front of them. Get them in front of where they come down so it sticks them up a little bit. back behind them. Just wrap that down tight. So it holds that little bit of rubber down out of your way, but just leave it there. Helps hold everything where you want it. Makes these antennas right up when you do it that way. And I come back about a third of the way back towards the bend of the hook. I pick out another piece of rubber. And on this one it's nice because it's white. It's got white, but it's also got these white and black barred ones in it. And I just snip that off down there at the bottom. I lay it across through here, and I'm just going to tie it in using a figure 8. Once around, I do twice this way, and twice up this way to hold it in place. And then I'm going to come in front of it, wrap twice down that way. Then I'm going to hold it in front and get behind it there, and just start my way down. Where I'm then going to stop about another third of the way down, and I'm going to get another set. Same thing. I use the barbed ones for the legs a lot. I like the way they look. It gives it a little bit extra dimension. And I'm just going to kind of go do the same thing here. Go around once, twice to lock it in place, to hold it there. And come back around here. Do the exact same thing across again, just doing that figure 8 pattern. Kind of Xing it over it to hold it down. And then 2 wraps in front, just to kind of lock it there. Kind of pushes the legs back a little bit. Pull them up out of my way. Right, then move the thread back until I get all the way to the end of the wire, and I'm back at my back thread down. I then go back into my leg, in my skirt material, and I find another white one. Snip it off. I want it to match the front on the antenna. I'm going to do the same thing on the back. We'll fold it in half till it's even. Hold it back here where I need it. And this is always a little more complicated for me, trying to tie in this back one than the front one. But just trying to work around that bend of that hook. Now on this one here, once I get it tied down to where I think it's tight, which is usually about 4 or 5 wraps, you always watch those back legs, they like to get tangled up on you. Just kind of keep them pulled out. Now I can do this. I'll use my left hand here just to make a few more wraps in there to get that down. Move them up. And we'll start working my thread back up to the front. Trying to not catch any of the legs in there. As you can see, they like to get caught. Work it all the way back up to where I'm right behind the front legs or the antennas. I'm then going to take my chenille and we'll wrap it opposite of the way I wrapped my thread. Nice even turns, watching for them legs again, because as bad as it was with the thread, it's even worse when you're getting the chenille through there. You can take and kind of grab them, pull them forward a little bit just to give you a little bit more view of it. Making sure you cover everything up through there. So like I said, you keep them pretty close. Get up behind that first set, that set of back legs. Kind of make sure that you kind of get them evened out to push them towards the back more. Then you make your nice even twist all the way up. Doing the same thing on the front. So it pushes them back just a little bit. I know some guys use hackle pliers. I'm not good with them, even when I'm wrapping hackle. So what I'll do is I get that all the way up here, and then we'll tie that off. Watching the antenna to make sure that they push to where I want them, to where they're equal, almost over the eye of the hook. Kind of spread them out there a little bit. Give them another twist. Now you got your chenille tied in. You just kind of get your tag end of it, trim it off. Kind of look at how your legs look. Kind of can work them to where you want them a little bit better. You're just going to kind of wrap a couple more wraps, almost make a head on there. Pushes that chenille up, helps hold those antenna. And that's the reason I had the antenna sticking up at the beginning, is I knew when I wrapped this down and pushed them down, if I'd had them even, a good chance it would have pushed them below the hook, eye of the hook. And just get your whip finisher out. You're just going to finish it off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wraps around. Pull up, lock it down. I always do a double whip. I always do it twice, just to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pull it up, lock it down. Give it a couple. Get a nice little tug on it. Snip it off. What you do is you look at your legs, kind of make sure they're kind of evened out. I don't always trim them. I might trim them sometimes out on the water. What I like to try to do is I kind of get them to where they're kind of hanging down and dangling like this. The tail, on the other hand, you stand it up here a little bit so you can see it better. I will come back here and I'll hold it up just tight, hold them together. Come up, pull it pretty tight, and I'm just going to clip off just a little bit. The amount that I clip off is more just to help even up them. And then we'll reposition, tighten it back down here. And I'll do the same thing with the antenna. Pull it out a little bit. Just grab them, pull them out. Just pull it out, and basically I'm just clipping off enough that they spring back. They're not that much different in length. If you see that it gets a little bit, you just pinch them together and just clip it off. You want the basically what would be the tail and the antenna to be about the same size, same length. The good thing is with this, oops, now, there. That tail is going to split a little bit for you there. A little bit of a jerk. You don't need to be a big split, just enough to kind of separate it from each other. Legs, I then kind of make sure everything's set in the way I want it. I just hold them up, pull my thumb up, I'll pinch them with my finger, pull them up, and just same thing. Clip them off a little bit. And then do the same thing here, just to kind of give them the same length on each side. And it's about I leave a little bit over the length of the shank of the hook. You know, because when they're down in the water, they're going to be jiggling around a little bit. This is going to bounce along the bottom for you. It's going to give you a good little indication. Like I said, it's a good generic stonefly, quick tie. Seen how fast I got it. The nice thing about these, I can sit down and knock off a dozen of these in an hour and be ready for the water. Alright guys, I'm going to make a few more of these. Hopefully you like them. If you have any response for them, please give it to me. I'll get a list of the materials up with this when I put the video up. Thanks.